Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Ford here. We are taking a look today at the hot start for the Minnesota Wild to start the 2021 NHL season. We'll be taking a look at that in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and a subscribe down below, and let's take a look at the Minnesota Wild. So a pretty good start to the season for the Minnesota Wild. They made a couple of moves in the offseason, nothing too crazy. They did bring in a new starting goaltender in Cam Talbot, moving out Devin Dubnyk over to San Jose. And probably the big one being that they brought in from the KHL of the Red Army team, Kirill Kaprizov. Kirill Kaprizov has been a real difference maker for this Wild team. A team that over the past couple seasons just hasn't had that offensive spark. But he absolutely adds that to the equation for the Wild right now. And we'll be looking at that now. So, looking at the season for the Minnesota Wild so far, it's been pretty impressive. They've done really well. They're 4-2 to start this season. They're second in the West Division, only behind probably the best team in the NHL, in my opinion, in the Vegas Golden Knights, who are 5-1. The Minnesota Wild have taken care of business for the most part. Looking at their schedule so far, they had a back-to-back with the Los Angeles Kings in LA to start the season. Won both of those games by a score of 4-3. They did lose to the Anaheim Ducks 1-0 in the Honda Center, but they would come back to end that series with the Ducks. Again, a 3-2 victory. They would beat the Sharks 4-1, and they would lose to the Sharks 5-3. So, there's a couple things. It's still early in the season. We have to remember that. We're only 6 games into the season, so to say the Wild are going to be a playoff team, they're going to be the super good team, it's still early. But I did have in my preseason power rankings and in general that they were going to make the postseason this year. You look at that division, I hate to say it, the California teams are going to give a team like Minnesota the upper hand in terms of potentially making the postseason this year. So looking at, the good thing is they took care of business in LA. They were able to win both those games, and the LA Kings have been pretty solid. They just whooped the St. Louis Blues in St. Louis. St. Louis did end up coming back a little bit in that game, but that's besides the point. LA is a good team. They beat Colorado the other day as well. Like, they are no joke. Don't take this Kings team seriously. So that's a big couple of wins there. They did lose to the Ducks 1-0. No offense showed up in that game. You can't really blame goaltending. They get a 3-2 win to combat that. They beat the Sharks at home for their home opener. And then they lose to the Sharks 5-3, which that was a close game. And Brent Burns scored that late goal in regulation. That really was the dagger in that game. So you could even argue that was a close game, and they just barely lost that game. And remember, San Jose was coming off a defeat against the St. Louis Blues, a pretty rough defeat, spanking on Friday. So they were going to be ready to go for this game. And then now this week, they play LA again this week, and they end the month taking on Colorado. They actually play a back-to-back with Colorado. So they play Colorado twice at home to end the month, and to start off February, they play twice in the Mile High State. So there's a really good opportunity for them. They're going to be playing Colorado an awful lot. They play St. Louis, and then they play a lot of California teams again to end February. So they actually have a 5-day break in there. Like, there's going to be an opportunity for them to kind of get things going. And they won't be seeing Vegas till March. So they have an opportunity to kind of build up their game until then. Looking at their top point producers, Kirill Kaprizov leading the way. No real surprises here. He's got 6 points so far to start the season. Joel Eriksson right behind him with 5 points, as well as Jordan Greenway and Ryan Suter still standing up strong there. You see Fiala with points, Hartman, Parise, and Matt Dumba in the mix as well. So all around, the good thing is we're seeing guys like Kaprizov, Eriksson, and Greenway. Jordan Greenway struggled a little bit last season in terms of the point department. He seems to be picking that up again since his rookie campaign. So the sophomore slump definitely hit him a little bit. Hopefully he comes back stronger this season, and he's having a good start to this year, which obviously helps that equation. So the Minnesota Wild, Looking in between the pipes, pretty solid as well. Capo Kakinen with a 921 save percentage and a 227 goals against average. Not too bad for the young netminder, only played in half a dozen games in the NHL. He's looked pretty solid to start his true NHL season this year. Cam Talbot, the newly acquired starting goaltender, I had some questions about him. He really struggled in Alberta between the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers. But in this system with the Minnesota Wild, he's put up some pretty solid numbers as well. A 234 goals against average and a 925 save percentage. So a good start all around for the Minnesota Wild. A lot of excitement in this season. They sit second in the West Division. They are ahead of the Colorado Avalanche and the St. Louis Blues, which are teams you would consider contenders for the Minnesota Wild in that top grouping. Vegas is in a class of its own, but they're only a point behind Vegas at this point. So, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Minnesota Wild? Do you think Kirill Kaprizov has the potential to win the Calder this year as Rookie of the Year? Do you think that's still legitimate? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section down below. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, what else are you doing here? Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and to subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and let's go Wild.